Our next speaker is going to talk about how to climb, title is How to Climb a Mountain. And it's going to relate to it, experience from a professional climber of mountains, how that relates to real life, and how can you implement that in real life. So without any further ado, Beatriz, please come up here, give her a hand. She's going to do project number 4 and how to say it. Beatriz.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, have you ever climbed a mountain? I haven't, but I met someone that has. A few months ago, I met Kathy Guzman. She was one of the first 3 Colombian women to ever climb Mount Everest. And looking at this slim, 5 feet tall woman, very loquacious, I thought to myself, how is it possible that she climbed the highest mountain in the world? Moments later, she gave a speech, and it impacted me very much. It had many learnings, many teachings that I could relate to. The main one is how climbing a mountain, it's very much like reaching a goal. When you are climbing a mountain, you are when you're climbing a mountain, you are reaching to you want to reach the summit. When you are reaching a goal, you have to do the same. You have to do 3 main things. First, you have to identify your mountain. What are your goals? Second, you have to divide the journey. You have to divide the goal into smaller steps so you can attain it. And third, you have to take time to rest. You have to take time to step back and think about what you're doing wrong before you can improve and reach your goal. First, identify your mountain. Kathy started talking to us about how when she was a young ecology student, a friend of hers invited her to climb a mountain. She had never done this before, and she enjoyed it very much. She discovered that that was her true passion in life. From being an A+ student, she became a poor student because she abandoned her studies to go on the weekends climb mountains. One day, her mother confronted her. She asked her, "What do you want to do in life? Do you want to climb mountains or do you want to be an ecologist?" She decided to become a climber, but not just any climber, a professional one. She started climbing mountains around America and dedicating herself to that, training in the weekends, and dreaming about conquering Mount Everest, until one day she got a call. She was invited to be part of a team that was going to go up Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world. What can we learn from Kathy's experience? She was able to identify what she wanted to do in life. She identified her mountain. That's the first thing you have to do. If you don't know where you're going, how can you get there? She put her life to it. She put all her passion to it. And we have to do the same. We have to experience many things. We have to dream. We have to try out until finally we decide what my goal is going to be. Once we do that, there's nothing we can stop us. So today I ask you, what is your mountain? Second, divide the journey into stages. Nobody climbs Mount Everest in one day. Listening to Kathy, I learned that to get to Mount Everest, you have first to travel by plane, then by plane you have to travel by train, then you have to take a car and start ascending slowly up the mountain. You have to ascend and rest, because so high in the mountains, the levels of oxygen are so low that if you attempt to do the journey in one step, you will get mountain sickness. You have to adapt to the altitude. So this is what they did. They traveled by car, reaching different towns, until finally they got to base camp. From base camp, the journey is divided one more time into different camps until the summit. So they go from base camp to base 1, base 1 to base 2, base 2 to base 3, and base 3 to the summit. In a similar way, we have to do the same when we have a goal. We have to divide it into smaller goals. And remember, the same way that nobody reaches a mountain in one day, you can't reach your main goals in one day. So, divide the journey. Third, you have to take time to rest. And that is very important, because listening to Kathy, I learned that climbers don't go up all the time. Sometimes they have to go down. In fact, many times they have to go down. Because if you try to go up in the mountain all the time, your body will get so weak that the next morning you will have no energy to climb. So it's a custom among alpinists to go to base camp, to go from base camp to base 1, then descend. Next morning, they'll go from base camp to base 2, then descend to base 1. The next morning, they'll go from base 1 to base 3, and then descend to base 2. Until they do it this way until finally they reach the summit. How can we apply this to our daily lives? Well, when we have a goal and we want to reach it, and sometimes we fail, we have to take a step aside and we have to think, what am I doing wrong? That's our rest. That's what we have to think. Okay, maybe I should change this. Maybe I can try to do this better. And that's the only way we'll ever reach the summit. Take time to rest. Today I've talked to you about the experience of an experienced climber and how it relates to reaching a goal. My goal in Toastmasters, my vision, is to complete my communications manual. To do this, I have already done the first step. The first 2 steps I have already done. I have already identified my goal. My mountain is to finish my communications manual. I've done the second step too. I've divided the journey, because by following the manual, I am accomplishing the steps little by little, one by one. And the third step, I apply it every time I do a speech. Because every time I do a speech, afterwards I evaluate myself with the help of you, and that's my time to rest. That's my time to replenish, to think, and to grow and reach for my goal. Thank you very much.